Conor McGregor says that he wants to fight Michael Chandler in June at UFC 303, International Fight Week. And then he wants to follow it up by fighting Nate Diaz at UFC 306 at the Las Vegas Sphere. Do you guys think it's actually going to happen? Stick around to hear my thoughts. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. All right, guys, so we're back. Another video during UFC 299 Fight Week. I've been pumping out multiple videos a day, so make sure you go check out my channel. Now, Conor McGregor said on a Q&A on Instagram that he wants Michael Chandler at UFC 303 in June, International Fight Week, and that he wants to fight Nate Diaz in their trilogy fight at UFC 306, which has been announced to be at the Sphere in Las Vegas in September. Now, before we even get to that, do you guys think that Conor is even ever going to fight again? Because all that I've seen from Conor is drinking on a yacht, partying, promoting his Black Forge Stout, promoting his pub. And look, I'm not trying to be one of these guys that says you can't have fun and fight. It's just that he's not even in fighting mode. We've seen like 2 clips of him training in the past few months, and it's been sparring against his personal trainer and his personal chef. And they literally look like people that can't even walk and chew gum at the same time. So that's what worries me about, not about Conor beating Michael Chandler or Conor beating Nate Diaz, because I think that he can beat both of those guys. My concern is that we never see Conor in the cage again. So that's where my concern comes in, is that he's not committed to training at all, but then he's always talking to us about a fight or always talking to us about what the next thing is and in regards to fighting. And it makes me think that Conor is just thirsty for attention. And it feels that his relevancy has definitely faded in the combat sports space. He's more of a celebrity and he's more of a pop culture figure than he is anything else, and definitely much more than a fighter these days. You see, every time a big card comes around, he's talking shit to whoever fought in the main event. I remember his interview with Stephen A. Smith before the Dustin Poirier trilogy fight, where he said, I'm no celebrity. I break people. I'm no celebrity. I break people's faces for money and bounce. It doesn't even really seem like that's the case. More than anything, he's a celebrity these days. And you guys can give me your thoughts, but I really don't see anything from Conor that indicates that he's getting ready for a fight. Now, he obviously is about to put out a movie towards the end of this month with Jake Gyllenhaal, and he has promotional obligations for that, I assume. But it just doesn't seem like the timeline with getting into a fight camp and training multiple times a day for 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. It doesn't seem like it lines up for him to fight in June based on where he's at right now, being basically everywhere but the gym. Appearances, his restaurant, ads, other people's combat sports events. He's been in Saudi Arabia and Dubai a lot. I'm not trying to talk shit. I actually want him to come back. I think that Conor fighting is good for the sport, good for the fans, good for the company, and good for everybody involved, because Conor makes money for everybody. One thing to consider is that given the way that the UFC structures their pay these days, I don't think that there's anybody that's going to get the $20-30 million that Conor's been reported to be paid for fights before. And that might be part of the problem. Conor might want $30 million for a fight, $20 million for a fight, and the UFC might be wanting him to take a pay cut. So I'm not really sure if I'm convinced. Actually, no, I know that I'm convinced right now that Conor's not getting ready for a fight, which makes June 29th seem incredibly unlikely. It makes me think that September at the Sphere would be the earliest that he fights. That worries me. At that point, we're over 3 years. By September, we're over 3 years since Conor's fight has last fought. And it'll be against most likely Chandler, who's wasting his end of his career away, waiting for one payday. He could have fought 3 times by now. And frankly, it seems like the entire thing in regards to Conor's comeback fight against Michael Chandler has been botched by everybody. It feels like Conor's not taking a comeback seriously. He's been getting tested for a while now. Chandler is wasting his career away, waiting for this one paycheck. And the UFC seems that they're totally fumbling this. Like, there's somebody that's not telling the truth here between Dana and Conor, because Dana says he's not ready. He'll let us know when he's ready. Blah, blah, blah. The fall, and everything keeps getting pushed back. And then you have Conor saying, I want to fight. I'm going to box Manny Pacquiao. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And for all I know, he might. He might fight in June. He might fight in September. And then he might box Manny Pacquiao in December, like he said. Where we stand right now, it does not seem like Conor is anywhere near a fight. So let me know what you guys think. 1, is Conor ever going to fight again? 2, is Michael Chandler wasting his time by waiting for this fight? And 3, is Dana or Conor lying to us? Because that's how it feels like. It feels like Dana is trying to push back and push back and push back. And if what Ariel Helwani has been saying is right, the UFC's contract or the UFC's streaming deal with ESPN is up at the end of this year. And if they can push Conor further back, because Conor has 2 fights left on his contract, if they can push Conor further back towards the end of the year, where he fights once in 2024, they can go into their contract negotiations for 2025 with whoever their streaming partner would be, whether it's ESPN, Netflix, because WWE is going over there. If they do their own website, whatever it is, they could go into that new deal with the bargaining piece that you're going to get a Conor McGregor fight or 2 out of this streaming deal, which is going to mean way more revenue than your average Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis, like these guys that are getting pay-per-view main events so far this year. You're going to get way more revenue out of somebody like Conor, who hasn't fought in potentially over 3 years, than you will off of who's in the mix right now. Because the days of 1 million pay-per-view buys are basically over. I'd say 3, not 3, 3's a little low, but 500,000, 600,000, that's a pay-per-view star these days. Gone are the days of 1.5 million buys, 2.4 million buys like Conor and Khabib. Now, I would be surprised if the UFC is still doing pay-per-views in the pay-per-view format in like 2 years. WWE doesn't even call them pay-per-views anymore. I think that the smarter move would be for the UFC to move to a streaming model. I'd rather pay, instead of $10 a month for ESPN Plus, and then also have to pay $80 per pay-per-view. I mean, and most people don't pay that, but just from a objective standpoint in regards to their streaming business, I feel that they could make a lot more money charging $20 a month, $25 a month for UFC content. That would include the numbered events, the pay-per-view cards, where people that might watch the fight nights on ESPN and then stream illegally the pay-per-views, they might be willing to pay $20, $25, $30 a month to get all of the content so that they could get fight nights, pay-per-views, or whatever those will be called, but numbered events without streaming, because people have watched streams. Obviously, they know that those cut out. The quality is not as good. People that buy pay-per-views know that the streaming quality is great. You don't lose the feed once in a blue moon, but you don't lose the feed. You don't get grainy shots. And I feel like people would want that at a monthly cost as opposed to every 3 to 5 weeks coughing up $80. That's when you start mixing in, like when people have watch parties, you got the pizza, the beer, the blah, 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 whatever. It could turn into a $300 night just to hang out with 5 people or whatever it is. So I think that the smartest move for the UFC is to go to a streaming model like the WWE has with Peacock. And I think that the best move for Conor is to make a decision. Either be a fighter and commit to that for the 2 years and 2.5 years that you might have left of your athletic prime. He's about to be 36 years old. Or just move on. Like, not that he cares about the fans, but do your fans a favor, do the sport a favor, and cut the cord, let it go. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think we see Conor McGregor ever fight again? I'm on the fence right now, but I'm leaning towards no, he doesn't fight again, which sucks because I would love to see Chandler in June, Diaz in September at the Sphere. So let me hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. Do we see Conor McGregor fight ever again? If you like this video and you want more content just like this, click that subscribe button down below. If you want more content from me, go check out my weekly comedy podcast, the Hissyfit podcast, and go check out my personal channel, Wyatt's World. Go watch this suggested video, and I'll see you next time.